तस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णापृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनेति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। आनन्दलीलामय विग्रहाय हेमावदिव्य छविसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रसप्रदाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। भजामि राधां अरविन्दनेत्रं स्मरामि राधां करुणस्मितस्य वदामि राधां करुणाभरत्रं ततो ममन्यस्ति गतिर्न कापि। श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय। So as we made this point previously, we stopped at the point where Krishna had uplifted Aghasur. This pastime of Aghasur is a little special. Why? Because this is the only pastime in Krishna's Braja pastimes of Krishna killing demons where Krishna shows some Aishwarya. In all other pastimes, when Krishna kills demons, Krishna is as it is. When he kills Putana, Krishna is as it is. When Krishna kills Shakatasur, Krishna is as it is. Krishna kills Trinavarta, same. When Krishna is uplifting the two trees, no change in his body. Bakasur, no change in his body. Vatsasur, no change in his body. Krishna is as it is. But only in the pastime of Aghasur, Krishna demonstrates some Aishwarya. When Krishna enters the mouth of Aghasur, Krishna starts expanding in size. In no other pastime, Krishna shows Aishwarya, but only in this pastime, Krishna decides to flex his muscles. Krishna starts expanding in size. and he becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. You see, sometimes when we have prasad, rather than the food going to the food pipe, if it goes to the windpipe, immediately we start coughing. When the thing goes to the wrong place, naturally there is a tendency to throw it out. Similarly, Aghasur took all the friends inside. He took Krishna also inside his mouth. But now Krishna in the throat started expanding. Now the question arises, well, Krishna could have done this previously also. When he killed Bakasur, he didn't expand. When he killed Putana, he didn't expand. Why in Aghasur pastime? Why not in any other pastime? And the reason is, in all other pastimes, Maya Yashoda was always close by. Putana pastime, Mother Yashoda is close by. Shakatasur, Maya is close by. Trinavarta, Maya is close by. Two trees being uplifted, Mother is close by. Vatsasur, friends are close by. Bakasur, friends are close by. This is the only pastime Mother Yashoda is not there and friends are unconscious. So, because no one is seeing, Krishna decides to show some Aishwarya. Krishna decides to show some godly abilities. And no one saw this, except for our Acharyas. Even though the friends didn't see, the Acharyas have laser vision. When they write these pastimes, all these pastimes get revealed in the heart. And they can explain the nuances which even the friends did not perceive. So Krishna demonstrates some Aishwarya in this pastime. Secondly, Krishna was there in the throat. Right? Krishna was there in the throat. In Hindi or in Sanskrit, what do we call a snake?
Sarp.
What is the another name? Don't say me, Sarp, Sap. There is another name. Have you heard Ajgar? Ajgar? We have all heard Ajgar. We say for snake. Not heard? We have heard, right? So snake is also called as Ajgar. Why is a snake called as Ajgar? Please be attentive here. Put everything to the side and just keep hearing. A snake in Hindi or Sanskrit is called as Ajgar. Why? Because Aja means goat and Gara means a throat. That creature that can gulp a goat down its throat is called as an Ajgar. We see python has this ability. As it is, Yatha Roop, it goes inside. So much so that when the animal goes inside, the python even does not move. It is as it is, at one place, stand still. So that creature that can gulp a goat down its throat is called as an Ajgar. Aja means goat and Gara means a throat. Shripad Harisuri, one of the commentators, he says Aghasur is the real Ajgar. Why? Because in Aghasur's Gara, in his throat, he had Aja. Ja means Janma. Aja means someone who has no Janma. Krishna has no Janma. So he says Aghasur is the real Ajgar because in his Gara he had Aja, that is Sri Krishna. Ja means Janma, Aja means no Janma. He says all others are Ajgar, but Aghasur is the real Ajgar because in his Gara he had Aja Sri Krishna. Make sense?
Yes.
So Aghasur is an Ajgar. At the same time, another interesting thing about this Aghasur pastime is when Krishna uplifted Aghasur, Balaram was not there. All friends were there, Balaram was not there on the scene. In all other pastimes, Balaram was there as an eyewitness, as Sakshi. But in this pastime of Aghasur, Balaram Prabhu was not there. Why? Because it was Balaram's happy birthday. It was Balaram's birthday. So probably he was at home celebrating happy birthday to you. Not that Acharyas say that, but probably he's at home. Because our Acharyas comment that Rohini Maya had this desire that it is Balaram's birthday, so let him be at home. I will nicely bathe him, I will nicely put tilak for him, I will put aguru, I will nicely put some nice cloth for him. It's a birthday, right? Generally on birthday we buy new clothes, we try to dress nicely because you never know on birthday who will come at your doorstep. Everyone comes as a surprise. So Rohini wants that if someone by chance comes, her Balaram is ready. Balaram is nicely decorated. So Balaram was staying home. And that is the time Krishna uplifted Aghasur. But this is not the real reason why Balaram didn't come. Shripad Vishwanath Chakravarti and Shripad Harisuri give something very fantastic. Who is Aghasur? He's a snake. Who is Balaram? Ananta Shesh, which means snake. Our Acharya's comment, Krishna thought to himself, Aghasur is a snake. Balaram as Ananta is also a snake. It's possible if two snakes come together, Balaram will have some soft corner for Aghasur. If Balaram has some soft corner for Aghasur, I cannot kill him. Better you stay at home. The day it is your birthday, I will go out and kill. So that there is no question of soft corner. Yogamaya arranged in such a way that it was Balaram's birthday and Balaram naturally stayed at home while Krishna goes and kills. Which means, in Vraj Leela, there is another snake who came to Braj. Kaliya. Similarly, even when Kaliya was killed, it was Balaram's birthday and Balaram was not there. Same reason. Same. Huh?
Kaliya wasn't killed.
Kaliya was not killed, but when Krishna chastised, Balaram was not there. So same logic. Because two snakes coming together, Krishna thought Balaram may have some soft corner. Two people of the same family, same dynasty are coming together. If two people of the same family come together, Balaram has some soft corner. It's possible Balaram may not allow Krishna to reprimand Kaliya or to reprimand Aghasur. So Yogamaya arranged in such a way that naturally it was Balaram's birthday and he was home celebrating while Krishna went and killed Aghasur. So Aghasur was delivered. After Aghasur was delivered, we find that Krishna, through his vision, he revives all the friends. All the friends had actually died, not even unconscious, they had died. But Krishna, just through his vision, he delivers all of them. He uplifts or he revives all of them. When Aghasur has departed this world, all the friends outside, they come outside from the mouth of Aghasur along with Sri Krishna. And naturally Krishna takes them to the river. The river close by, Krishna takes all of them. And they sit down. For what? Mahaprasade Govinde. Krishna sat down. Hum log ke liye aur time hai. We still have like good 2 hours. Or 1.5 hours, whatever. So Krishna, he went with his friends and sat down. And all the friends had brought prasadam from their home. One friend had brought some sweet, another had brought some savory, another some puri, chole. I hope the menu is not puri chole. Last time I said vada, it was idli. I am always a little near to what the menu is. I hope it's not puri chole.
But close by.
So different friends had bought different things. And sharing is caring. The more you share, the more you express your caring, the more you're loving to others. All the friends came and all of them sat down. And this place in Braj is called as Bhojan Thali. What's the place? Bhojan Thali. It's either called as Bhojan Thali or also called as Bhojan Sthali. Bhojan means prasad and Thali means a plate. Likewise, Bhojan Sthali, Sthala means Leela Sthali, the pastime place. That place where Krishna sits and eats with his friends is called as Bhojan Thali or Bhojan Sthali. This is a place in Kamyavan. This is a very nice place for the fact that this is one place in Braj Mandal that is very dear to the heart of my worshipable spiritual master. My worshipable spiritual master Srila Radha Govinda Maharaj, in a week he goes at least twice to this place. The place where Krishna would sit and eat with his friends. So all the friends came down. And when these friends sat down at this particular place, all of them had this desire that they want to see Krishna. Krishna was there. The friends sitting behind were looking at Krishna from behind. The friends sitting ahead, from ahead they were looking behind and looking at Krishna. They loved Krishna so much that whatever Krishna speaks, they want to make sure that they are seeing what Krishna is speaking. Those who are ahead are looking behind at Krishna. Those who are behind are looking ahead at Krishna. Literally towards Krishna's lips. What is Krishna speaking? So much love. And at that time, every friend had this desire that I want to see the face of Krishna. I don't want to see the back of Krishna. I want to see the face of Krishna. Every friend thought to himself, I just want to see this beautiful face. I don't want to see his back. And Krishna's Paramatma, he understood that every friend wants to see his face. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments by saying, Krishna at this time demonstrated something called as Sarva Sankalpata Shakti. What is it? Sarva Sankalpata Shakti. Krishna demonstrated a Shakti wherein every friend thought that Krishna is only looking at me. Every friend thought to himself, Krishna is only looking at me. For all other friends, Krishna is showing the back. For me, Krishna is showing his face. We see in the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 13, Krishna very boldly says, Sarvata pani padam tad, sarvata okshik shiromukham, sarvata shrutimal loke. Chapter 13, text 14 of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Sarvata pani padam tad. My hands and legs are everywhere. Sarvata okshik shiromukham. My head and my face is also everywhere. Sarvata shrutimal loke. My ears are also everywhere. Krishna spoke that in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But what was Krishna remembering when he was saying that? Krishna was remembering this pastime. Because in Vrindavan Dham, when Krishna sits down to eat with his friends, his face, his hands, his legs, his head, his ears are all towards one particular friend. And every friend thinks Krishna is only looking at me. Remaining all friends think Krishna is showing the back, but for me, he is showing his face. It's almost like a lotus. You see a lotus? It has a whorl in between. And around the lotus, you have different petals. The whorl is the center and remaining petals surround that whorl. Similarly, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments by saying Krishna was like that whorl. Krishna was sitting in the center. And all other friends were like petals decorating that assembly. And every friend was thinking, Krishna is only looking at me. How fortunate I am. Of all the friends, Krishna is just looking at me. How fortunate. And when we talk about prasad, there is one friend of Krishna, you cannot keep him to the side. Madhu Mangal. When you talk about prasad, he's like the acharya of eating. You cannot keep Madhu Mangal to the side. Jaya Jaya Gopeshwara Vrindavana Maj Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakhā Dāsa. Madhu Mangal has a nickname called as Bhattu. What's the name? Bhattu. The friends of Krishna don't address him as Madhu Mangal. We address him as Madhu Mangal, but Krishna calls him as Bhattu. He's called as Bhattu Dvijaraj. Dvija means a Brahmana. Brahmanas are called as Dvija. Why? Ja means Janma. Like we saw Ajgar. Ja means Janma. Similarly, Dvija, Ja means Janma. And Dvi means two. So Brahmanas have two births. First, the biological birth. That is the parents. And the second birth. Is where spiritual master is the guru and Gayatri mantra is the mother. So when someone gets mantra diksha, that's when they become a Brahmana. That's why we say Brahman diksha. So spiritual master becomes the guru and Gayatri becomes the mother, and first birth is the biological birth. Likewise, even teeth are called as Dvija. Why? Milk teeth, permanent teeth. Two births. So milk teeth, permanent teeth, they are called as Dvija. Likewise, birds are also called as Dvija. Why? First birth is considered the egg, and second birth is when they hatch from the egg. So they are also called as Dvija. So Madhu Mangal is called as Dvija, Bhattu Dvijaraj. Madhu Mangal also came to that assembly. All other friends were there. Maybe you want to take a little water, Prabhuji? Aghasur का past time बोले कि Aghasur started coughing. वो इतना असर हो गया इधर तक आ गया. That doesn't mean Prabhuji is Aghasur. Don't look at him that way. It's just an analogy. So all the friends were present, and Madhu Mangal was also there. And all the friends started sharing and they were eating. And the friends were so mischievous that they would ask Krishna, Krishna, can you open your mouth? And Krishna would be so kind. Krishna would close his eyes and he would open. And when Krishna would open his mouth, they would stuff a jasmine flower inside his mouth. And Krishna would close his mouth and, what did you put inside? It's so bitter. You told me it's going to be sweet. It's so bitter. And the friends start laughing. And Krishna loves this. Krishna loves it. Why? Because it is filled with bhakti. There is devotion in the heart. Bhakti plus actions make sense. Only actions and no bhakti is 0. Bhakti is like that 1. If we add bhakti in anything, it becomes 10 or 100. If there is no bhakti, whatever we do, how much ever rounds we chant, whatever service we do, if there is no bhakti in the heart, Krishna is never bound. That is why Prahlad Maharaj, in the 7th canto, he says, Manye dhana vijana rupa tapashrutojas teja prabhava bala paurusha buddhi yoga nara dhanani bhavanti parasya pumsam bhaktya tutoshna bhagavan gajayuta paya. Prahlad Maharaj says, Manye dhana, our wealth, abhijana, our followers, rupa, our form, fair and lovely. Manye dhanabhijana rupa tapa, our austerities, our form, our money, our austerities, our name, fame, recognition, prestige, our achievements, our accolades, our strength, our intelligence. All of this individually or collectively also doesn't please Krishna. Krishna doesn't even look at that person. Prahlad Maharaj says, there is only one thing that Krishna is looking out for. Bhaktya, bhakti. If all these things are put with bhakti, it makes sense. But if there is no bhakti, Krishna doesn't even look at that person. And what is the example Prahlad Maharaj gives? Bhaktya tutoshna bhagavan gajayuta paya. He gives the example of Gajendra. What did Gajendra have? Nothing. An elephant, a pashu, 4-legged creature. But Krishna, sitting on the back of Garuda, Krishna came. Why? Bhakti. He just gave one flower. He didn't give anything. That flower is also given by Krishna itself. Krishna creates that flower. He picked that flower and gave it to Krishna. And Krishna accepted it. So the fundamental point is Krishna is looking for bhakti. And these friends are stuffing flowers inside the mouth of Krishna in the pretext of giving a gulab jamun or a rasgulla. And Krishna still accepts it because there is bhakti. And this goes on not just with Krishna. This goes on with other friends also. The other friends, when some friends are mischievous with Krishna, while some other friends are opening up a samosa and putting flowers inside, putting mud inside, and closing the samosa and giving to their friends. Rather than it being a samosa, it's filled with mitti. It's filled with mud inside. And when Krishna gets to know, Krishna says, when I ate dirt, you all went and complained, right? Karma. Again it is coming back. Now you all also eat dirt. The friends sitting are making mischievous pranks with each other. And Krishna is just loving this. Madhumangal, we were talking about Madhumangal. Who is Madhumangal? Madhumangal is the son of Sandipani Muni. Have you heard Sandipani Muni?
Yes.
Sandipani Muni, who's later going to become Krishna's teacher. His son is Madhumangal. Sandipani Muni's mother is someone by the name Paurnamasi Devi. What's the name? Paurnamasi Devi. Jaya Vrisha Bhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari Jaya Paurnamasi Jaya Abhira Nagari. Paurnamasi Devi, she's old. Her son is Sandipani Muni, who is outside of Vrindavan. Sandipani Muni's son is Madhumangal, who is there in Vrindavan. And Madhumangal also has a sister by the name Nandimukhi. What's the name? Nandimukhi. And Sandipani Muni also has a son who later Krishna will go and bring back. But in Vrindavan, Sandipani Muni has 2 children, Madhumangal and Nandimukhi, brother sister. What are the names?
Nandimukhi and Madhumangal.
Nandimukhi and Madhumangal. So Madhumangal is the son of Sandipani Muni. Are we all there in the same page?
Yes.
So Madhumangal was there with Krishna. And when Krishna and other friends were having these pastimes, Madhumangal understood that in order to be in this assembly, I have to share. I have to share. This is the law. If I have to be around Krishna's friends, I have to share. But I will share everything except prasad. Madhumangal can share everything except prasad. Madhumangal is such a personality, he will not share an inch from his plate. He will eat from other plates, but he doesn't want to share anything. So when Madhumangal got to know that sharing is caring, everyone is sharing, Madhumangal had brought a big bottle of buttermilk. What do you call buttermilk in Telugu?
Majjiga.
Majjiga. He had brought majjiga. He had brought big bottle of majjiga. And he saw everyone is sharing. But now Madhumangal is not in a mood to share. He opens the bottle, starts putting everything inside. The mouth is only this small. They are all small. But starts stuffing everything inside his mouth. And when Krishna looks at Madhumangal, Madhumangal is buttermilk inside, not ready to give Krishna, not ready to give anyone. I have to only drink. When Krishna sees that Madhumangal is drinking buttermilk all by himself, Krishna goes there and Krishna smashes the cheeks of Madhumangal and all the buttermilk comes out. When the buttermilk comes out, Krishna opens his mouth. Krishna drinks the juta of Madhumangal. The Lord of all lords, the creator of all creators, the origin of all origins, the source of all sources. He who in the Bhagavad Gita says, Mattha parataram nanyat, there is no one greater to me. He is opening his mouth and drinking juta. And Madhumangal is also not feeling that it is some aparad. If we give our juta by mistake, leave alone to Krishna, if by mistake some devotee has our juta, we feel so guilty. We feel, arey aparad ho gaya. I did some aparad, mera juta kha liya. Madhumangal is giving his juta and Madhumangal is standing with his chest upright. He is like, so what? Have my juta. The more juta you will have, the more love you will develop for me. Have. Krishna is having. When Krishna has the juta of Madhumangal, Brahmaji is saying from above, what is going on? He is God? God is drinking juta? He is Yagya Bhuk. Krishna has a name called as Yagya Bhuk. What is it? Yagya Bhuk. Krishna is called Yagya Bhuk because Krishna eats only from the yagyas. Only when mantras and tantras and etc. different mantras are chanted. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karam Swaha. Krishna's Yagya Bhuk. We can see Srivas Gauranga Prabhu chanting. And nowadays, last time Sridhar Gopal Prabhu was there, Ramukund Prabhu was there. Huh? They are all pandits. Huh? We have many dvijas now in the assembly. Recent recruit, acha. Entry level job hai. So Krishna is called as Yagya Bhuk. He eats only from the yagyas. And only when mantras are chanted, in a proper vidhi they are given, that's when Krishna eats. Brahmaji is thinking to himself, there is no vidhi here. There is no mantras that are chanted. Krishna is sitting cross-legged, with flute tucked to one side, with bugle and horn to another side to call the cows and calves. And Krishna in his right hand, Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Krishna in his right hand has yogurt and curd. Yes, perugu. Very right. Very well. Next time Marathi मध्ये बोलू. Nitin Prabhu is also there. So he has perugu in his hand. He has yogurt. And he has rice. What do you call yogurt and rice together? Perugannam. Perugannam. He has perugannam in his hand. He has yogurt and rice. This is instant. I have heard so much Telugu, you don't know. I can defeat you in the Telugu class now. So he had perugannam. He had yogurt and rice in one hand. And in his left hand, Krishna has pickle. But not normal pickle. Krishna has amla pickle. Krishna is also, he wants taste. He has amla pickle. Amla pickle, in between his fingers there is amla pickle. Little he has kept, and lemon pieces here, and rice here. So little he takes amla pickle, puts it on his rice and yogurt and eats. Even Krishna doesn't eat just yogurt rice. Like, he has nice combinations. You do that? He has the full right to sit ahead then.
No, I'm completely opposite to that.
Oh, you're opposite.
I cannot eat anything if it's mixed with curd rice.
Oh, okay. Probably Krishna is also South Indian. He's like eating yogurt. Madhumangal is drinking buttermilk, perugu.
Daddhojanam. It's actually Daddhojanam.
The most surprising thing would be the day we go back to Krishna, whichever lifetime. The way we go back to Krishna, it will be so hilarious. Even Krishna is speaking Telugu. Okay. I want to say something in Telugu, but I don't know the statement. So, and of course, Krishna can speak all languages. He speaks even the language of the birds and the animals. Krishna can also speak Telugu.
Yeah, sometimes we get a doubt, right? When we are praying in our mother tongue, we get a doubt. Does Krishna understand this? No, you made it bona fide.
Of course. Krishna does understand. Krishna knows all the languages. In fact, Krishna is better than us in our own language. So, Krishna has yogurt rice, perugannam in one hand, and he has pickle, amla pickle, in between his fingers, and he has lemon pieces. And Krishna is nicely eating, and Brahmaji is looking from up. Brahma is scratching his head. He's God. He calls himself God. He is eating with his left hand. Left hand is not considered pure. It is muchi. It's not considered pure. Shuchi means pure. Muchi means impure. So in devotional practices, whether deity worship or eating or anything, left hand is never used. We never use the left hand for anything because it is muchi. Krishna is eating with his left hand. And Brahmaji is scratching his head. And mind you, he has 4 heads. So with his 8 hands, he's scratching. He's scratching his head and thinking, he's Bhagavan? What God he is? He's eating with his left hand. He's yagya book, no mantras, sitting cross-legged. He's ready to eat jasmine flowers stuffed inside a samosa. He cannot be a God. He cannot be God. And Brahmaji decides to test. If he is God, I need to test him. When the friends of Krishna were sitting and having prasad, at that time the cows and calves were also grazing. They were also having their Mahaprasadam. They were grazing fresh grass. And in between, one of the friends just got up and said that, Krishna, my cow is not to be seen. The cow was here, he was grazing here. She was grazing here. But not to be seen. And Krishna said, don't worry, I will go and search. You sit down, you have, I will go and search. So the friend said, okay. And Krishna got up. Now, when you're going to search something, you will naturally empty your hand, right? If you're going to search something, you will not keep walking with perugu annam in your hand and amla pickle and lemon in your hand. It's a disturbance. Like, you want your hands to be free. When you're sitting and having, that's okay. But when you're walking around and you're searching something, your hand should be free. But Krishna gets up with perugu annam in his hand. And with yogurt rice in his hand, Krishna goes searching. Srimad Harisuri comes into the picture. Srimad Harisuri says, why did he take perugu annam? He could have kept the perugu annam to the ground. Why is he taking yogurt rice? Valid question. You see, whenever we have to go somewhere, we will make sure. Agar dhundna hai, haath khali hona chahiye. Krishna is taking like this and searching. And is calling to the cows. Srimad Harisuri comments by saying, what does a bhakta mean? Bhakta means a devotee. Bhakta, we say, Bhakta Vrinda, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Nitai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Bhakta means a devotee. But in Sanskrit, rice is also called as bhakta. Rice is also called as bhakta. So Krishna is showing that when obstacles come in my life, the bhakta who has taken my shelter, I will never leave them. Even if problems come in my life, that bhakta who has come to take my shelter, I will never leave that bhakta to the side. It's just a play of words. Bhakta means a devotee, but bhakta also means rice. So Krishna is holding on to the rice and showing when problems come in my life, I will still not leave the devotee. Those devotees who have surrendered to me, I will always give them shelter. So with yogurt rice in his hand, Krishna begins to walk and he's calling out to the calf. And when he's calling out to the calf, Brahma thinks to himself, this is the time. Krishna is not there around, now is the time to steal. Brahmaji comes, steals all the cows, steals all the calves, steals all the friends. Gone. Everything is gone. In a fraction of a second, everything is gone. And he picks all the cows and calves and friends and hides them in a cave. And by this time, Krishna comes back. When Krishna comes back, he sees his friends are not there. He sees cows are not there. He sees calves are not there. Brahmaji, after keeping the cows and calves, he again looks down. All the friends are there. All the cows are there. All the calves are there. Brahmaji starts scratching his head. Wait a minute. I kidnapped these friends only, right? I just kidnapped them. And I placed them inside the cave. And now that I look down, the friends are still there. They are still playing. They are still eating as if nothing has happened. So Brahmaji again looks in the cave. And the friends are still there. He again looks down. The friends are still there. Brahmaji turns two heads towards this side, two heads towards this side. Simultaneously. And the friends are still there. The cows and calves are still there as if nothing has happened. Brahmaji is thinking, what Shakti is this? What power is this? I thought I am Vidhata, I am creator. What Shakti is it? All the friends, all the cows, all the calves are as it is. As if nothing has happened. And they're having a gala time. They're like, mast maja kar rahe. Nicely having, nicely chit-chatting, cracking jokes, making fun. Brahmaji understands there is something terribly wrong here. The person whom I decided to test is not someone normal. He is Yagya Bhuk. He may be eating from the left hand, but he is Bhagavan. Because it's only the Supreme Lord who can perform pastimes like this. Brahmaji decides to come down to ask forgiveness. Brahmaji comes down and Krishna is sitting with his friends. And Brahmaji starts crying. With all his 4 heads and 8 eyes, he starts crying and crying and crying. And Krishna is looking to the side. Brahmaji is crying and Krishna is not even looking at him. And the friends, when they look at this side, that Brahma is coming and offering prayers. Brahma is crying at the feet of Krishna. The friends start laughing. They look at Krishna and say, Krishna, when did you make friendships with this 4-headed creature? We thought we are your friends. Inse kab dosti bana hai? Who is he? The friends. He is Brahmaji. Brahma is coming and the friends are laughing at Brahma. And Krishna is looking to the side. And Brahmaji is coming down with this hope of offering prayers and beseeching the Lord, begging the Lord for forgiveness. And here comes the chapter where Brahmaji starts quoting verse after verse after verse, called as Brahma Stuti. Brahmaji looks at Krishna. He starts crying, but now he has to also give obeisances. But because of 4 heads, he cannot give obeisances all at the same time. So first he gives obeisances with one hand, turns 90 degree, obeisances with another head, turns 90 degree, obeisances with another head. He gives obeisances to Shri Krishna. And now starts chanting verses. Brahmaji looks at Krishna and says, Naumedhyate bravipushe tadidambaraya gunjavatam saparipichhala sanmukaya vanyashraje kavalave travishana venum lakshmashriye mridupate pashupangajaya. 10:14 1 Bhagavatam. He says, my dear Lord, you are like a rain cloud. That cloud which is about to pour water. Not that cloud that has already given water. That cloud which is holding on to the water and is about to rain. And, my dear Lord, you have a yellow garment. You have a nice flute. You have a bugle with which you call your cows, you call your calves, you call your friends. My dear Lord, to this form of yours in Braj, I offer my respectful obeisances. Tatte nukampam sushamikshmano bunjana evatma kritam vipakam rit vak vapu bhir vidadan namaste jiveti yo mukti pade sadaya bhak. 10:14:8 Brahmaji. Brahmaji says, my dear Lord, people commit mistakes lifetimes together, but all they can hope for is your causeless mercy. All the time worshipping you with their tongue, with their mind, and with their heart, all that they can hope for, my dear Lord, is your causeless mercy. And only when you shower that mercy, my dear Lord, can they make any advancement on this path of Krishna Bhakti. And when he's quoting these verses, Krishna is not even looking at them. Krishna is looking down. As if to tell Brahmaji, I am getting embarrassed in front of my friends. Just go. My friends are laughing at me. You're a four-headed creature. Just go. Why are you embarrassing me? Just leave. Brahmaji is chanting verses. Krishna is not even looking at him. Brahmaji understands this will not work out. I have to chant verses, but I have to chant verses with a particular theme. If I glorify Krishna, Krishna is not going to look at me. Brahmaji decides to glorify the Vrajavasis. To get Krishna's attention, he takes a detour and now starts glorifying Krishna's Vrajavasis or Krishna's Vraja associates. And Brahmaji says, Ahoti dhanya vrajagoramanya. He says, my dear Lord, Ahoti dhanya. Oh, they are so fortunate. Who? Vrajagoramanya. The Vrajavasis, the cows, they are so fortunate. You are drinking the milk of the cows and calves. You are playing with your friends. They are all so fortunate. When the friends hear this, they say, we are fortunate? No, he is fortunate. We are not fortunate to have him. He is fortunate to have us. What is Brahmaji saying? He is fortunate to have us because if we don't take him in our sport, he starts crying. So we are not fortunate to have him. It's okay if we don't take him in our sport. He is fortunate to have us. So Brahmaji, what are you saying? He is fortunate to have us. And Brahmaji is quoting verses this way. When Brahma says, Ahoti Danya Vrajagoramanya, that, oh Krishna, the Vrajavasis are so fortunate. Krishna, who was looking all the while down, when he hears Vrajavasis, he looks up. What did he say? Vrajavasis? Go? Repeat. You glorifying the Vrajavasis? All this while Krishna was not paying attention. Vrajavasis ka naam sune, Krishna starts looking up. Because for Krishna, the glorification of his devotees is greater than his own glorification. When Krishna's devotees are glorified, it buys Krishna's attention. It grabs Krishna's attention. So that's a small trick that Brahmaji is teaching. In order to grab Krishna's attention, we can glorify Krishna, no doubt. But when we glorify profusely Krishna's devotees, that gets Krishna's attention. We see in the pastime of Maharaj Ambrish and Durvasa Muni. Durvasa went to Vishnu. He went to the Supreme Lord. The Lord was not ready to forgive him. But it's only when the devotee forgave Durvasa Muni, that's when Krishna also gave his shower of mercy. So the point that Brahmaji is teaching here is, when we glorify Krishna, no doubt Krishna is happy. But when his devotees are glorified, Krishna is even more happy. And now Brahmaji understands that this is Krishna's weak point. Nas pakad liya barobar. Because I have now got Krishna's attention. Now in full flow he starts glorifying the Vrajavasis. Brahmaji says, Aho bhagyam Nanda Gopa Vrajaukasam Yan Mitra Paramanandam Purna Brahma Sanatanam. Aho bhagyam. Oh, so fortunate. Who are fortunate? Nanda Gopa Vrajaukasam, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Maya, your friends, the Brajavasis, they are so fortunate. Aho Bhagyam, Nanda Gopa Vrajaukasam, Yan Mitra Paramanandam, Purna Brahma Sanatanam, the Purna Brahma, the Supreme Lord, Lord of all Lords, is now playing as a friend with all the Brajavasis. How fortunate are the Brajavasis? And when the friends are hearing this, they are saying, no, he is fortunate, we are not fortunate. He is fortunate. Brahmaji, change your verse. He is fortunate. Krishna, agree, you are fortunate. And Krishna in his heart, when he is hearing the glorification of the Brajavasis, Krishna is just loving it. And Brahmaji starts understanding, because Krishna's facial expressions start changing. Krishna slowly, instead of looking down, Krishna is now looking eye to eye in Brahma's eye, and is now having a smile in his face, because Brajavasis are glorified. When Brahmaji sees this, Brahmaji looks at Krishna and says, my dear Lord, I have only one request. I am asking only one thing. I know I have committed this aparadha of taking your friends away from you. I have committed this aparadha of taking cows and calves away from you. I just want one thing. And Krishna looks at him and says, what is that thing? What do you want? And Brahmaji says, my dear Lord, I pray that may I become a speck of dust in this land of Vrindavan. Yad Gokulepi Rajamangri Rajobhisheka, my dear Lord, I am not asking for anything. I want to become a speck of dust in this land of Braj. Why? Because when the Braja Gopis walk, when Krishna's friends walk, when Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maya walk, if I am there as an insignificant dust in this land of Vrindavan, it's possible that their feet will touch upon my head and I will get some brain substance. I will get some intelligence. Because as Brahma, I am so puffed up and proud that I tested you. So in order to crush my false ego, my dear Lord, I am not asking anything. Make me as insignificant as dust in this land of Vrindavan. Make me anything. But just give me a spot in this land of Braj. And when Krishna hears this, Krishna fulfills the desire of Brahmaji. The four heads of Brahma become Dangad, Mangad, Bhangad and Bilasgad in Varsana Dham. If you go to Varsana, there are four hills. Dangad, Mangad, Bhangad and Bilasgad. Those four hills are the four heads of Brahmaji. Brahmaji got that after this pastime as Krishna's blessing. Likewise, we find Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is praying to have a spot in this land of Braj, and he comes as Gopeshwar Mahadev. Narad Muni comes to Vrindavan as Naradiya Gopi. Arjuna, Pandava, comes to Vrindavan as Arjuniya Gopi. Everyone is desperate to enter this land of Vrindavan. Why? Because there is no place like the land of Vrindavan. This land of Vrindavan is so special. Our Acharyas very beautifully comment that 1 year of Krishna Bhakti, please hear this very carefully. How special is Vrindavan? 1 year of Krishna Bhakti in the land of Vrindavan is equivalent to 1,000 years of Krishna Bhakti anywhere in this world. Now I will just simplify this. Let's do the math. 1 year of Krishna Bhakti in the land of Vrindavan is equivalent to 1,000 years of Krishna Bhakti anywhere else. How many years does an approximate person live? 80? 80? 100 तो कोई रहता नहीं है. 80, that also on the higher end. COVID आ गया तो 40-50 में गौर प्रेमानंद हो जाएगा. 80 on the higher end. How much is 1,000 by 80? About 13. Which means 1 year of Krishna Bhakti in the land of Braj is equivalent to 13 lifetimes of Krishna Bhakti in Seattle. Let that sink in. 1 year of Krishna Bhakti in the land of Vrindavan is 13 lifetimes of Krishna Bhakti anywhere on this planet, including Seattle. 13 lifetimes if you spend outside of Braj, that same advancement you can make by living 1 year in the land of Vrindavan Dham. Who would be that person who would not want to go to Braj? Who would be that person who would not want to take advantage of this land of Vrindavan Dham? Srila Rupa Goswami gives Brajvas as one of the Panchanga Bhakti so that we can make rapid advancement on this path. And we are not going to take advantage of Vrindavan Dham. We may make our endeavors to make advancement, but we all agree, those who have been to Vrindavan, how many of us have been to Vrindavan? Everyone? Almost everyone. When we go to Vrindavan and when we come back, is our batteries recharged?
Yes.
Fully recharged?
Yes.
Do we even feel like boarding the flight and coming back? Don't feel like coming back, right? And when we are there in this land of Vrindavan, and even when we come back, our tongue is chanting a particular name. Jaya Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jaya Jaya Shri Radhe. 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 Srimati Radharani ki, Shri Braj Bhumi Shri Vrindavan Dhama ki, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. This land of Vrindavan is so powerful that naturally when you just step, you keep 1 feet in the land of Braj. Even if you're an atheist, your tongue starts vibrating Radhe Radhe. Cycle rickshaws, no horn. Radhe Radhe. When you have to greet someone, Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe. All expressions are Radhe Radhe. When someone is happy, Radhe Radhe. When someone is surprised, Radhe. Someone is angry, Radhe. All expressions just by Radharani's name, and that's how Vrindavan works. Naam is vibrating in the tongue and expressions are also delivered. So this land of Vrindavan Dham, 1 year living in the land of Vrindavan is equivalent to 13 lifetimes. I'm not saying 13 years, 13 lifetimes of Krishna Bhakti anywhere on this planet. So we have to make every endeavor as much as possible, at least once a year or once in 2 years, to at least go to these pastime places to get our batteries recharged. Yes, to get our batteries recharged. Whether it is Braj, whether it is Navadvip, or whether it is Jagannath Puri. These pastime places are very powerful, and Brahmaji, who is the creator, is begging that, my dear Lord, kuch to bana do. Make me something, make me dust, just make me a grain of sand in this land of Vrindavan. Because in this land of Vrindavan, Krishna wears gunja berries. Krishna doesn't wear ornaments, Krishna wears gunja berries. Gunja berries that Krishna wears is greater than the ornaments of Vaikuntha. The forest flower garlands that Krishna wears in Vrindavan is greater than the Parijata tree of Vaikuntha. 1 grain of sand in the land of Vrindavan is greater than the whole of Vaikuntha put together. You put all the Vaikuntha planets, still they are nowhere in connection to 1 grain of sand to the land of Vrindavan Dham. And this land of Vrindavan is the heart and soul of Gaudiyas. This land of Vrindavan is the aim of Srimad Bhagavatam. The only purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam is to develop attachment to this land called as Vrindavan Dham. Shukadev Goswami speaks all the 9 cantos only so that we don't doubt the identity of Krishna. When Krishna eats dirt or when Krishna performs these pastimes, it's only so that the Aishwarya of the first 9 cantos is presented, so that we don't doubt Krishna's position. But the aim, the crux of all the 12 cantos, the aim of Srimad Bhagavatam is only one thing: to develop attachment to this land of Vrindavan. If after all our discussion, if there is even little desire in the heart that someday I want to go to Braj, that is perfection. The 2.5 hours classes that we are doing, even if we don't remember any single thing, that is completely fine. Even if we don't remember any of the verses, completely fine. If we don't remember the flow, completely fine. Everything is completely fine, provided if we have one desire in the heart, I want to go to Vrindavan. Braj jana hai. I want to live in this land of Vrindavan. This is perfection. Gaudiyas means our heart should beat Vrindavan, 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 Vrindavan. Srila Rupa Goswami is writing Nectar of Instructions. He is writing Nectar of Devotion. Prabhupada is writing so many books only with this one agenda, to help us develop attachment to the land of Vrindavan. In fact, the 700 verses of Gita only speak about Vrindavan. If we see from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, all 700 verses are only speaking about Vrindavan. This land of Vrindavan is everything for the Gaudiyas. And there is no higher place than this. Please don't think Vrindavan is a place in Uttar Pradesh. It's not a place in Uttar Pradesh. It's not something that is part of the map. It's not something that we with our money can go. Without Radharani's sanction, no one can enter this land of Braj. And Radharani's sanction comes when Krishna is satisfied. And Krishna is satisfied when Radhika is satisfied. And they both are satisfied when Gurudev is satisfied. And Gurudev is satisfied when we follow his instructions. And the primary fundamental instruction is to get up in the morning and chant. There is no higher instruction than this. When Diksha is given, what does Sri Guru say? Chanting minimum 16 rounds and 4 regulative principles. In Brahma Muhurta, in the morning time. This is the fundamental instruction, because everything is revealed just by getting up in the morning and chanting. It's an addiction. Those who are up in the morning will resonate to what I am saying. It's an addiction. Lat lag jata hai. Just like outsiders, they are addicted to liquor and wine and intoxication. Similarly, when we get up continuously in the morning, morning chanting becomes an addiction. You feel really guilty when you don't get up in the morning. When you get up at 7:30 and you realize that 4 o'clock, all the devotees have got up and finished their 16 rounds, but I was sleeping. Believe me or not, it feels so bad in the heart. And that is experiential. Those devotees who have experienced will know what I'm talking about. It's an addiction, morning chanting. So I am not promoting morning chanting. That's not the agenda. But the fundamental point is, it's only with getting up early in the morning and chanting, Sri Guru is satisfied. Sri Guru gets satisfied, Prabhupada is satisfied. Prabhupada is satisfied, Krishna is satisfied. Krishna gets satisfied, Radhika is satisfied. Radhika is satisfied, Krishna gets satisfied. Both are satisfied, Gauranga Mahaprabhu is satisfied. But in order to get Gauranga Mahaprabhu, in order to get Radharani, in order to get Krishna, it's very difficult. Very difficult to get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very difficult to get Radharani, and even more difficult to get Krishna. But there is one personality who has advented for all of us. He is our savior. Shri Nityananda Ram Ki Jaya Nityananda Ram Jaya Nityananda Ram Jaya Nityananda Ram Jaya Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram Jaya Nityananda Ram That is why we find earlier, even during Saraswati Thakur's time, there was Gaur Gadadhar. Even now, if you go to Gaudiya Mats, it is Gaur Gadadhar. It is Prabhupada's master plan to introduce Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu was never worshipped before. It was Gaur Gadadhar. Even now you find in Saraswati Thakur's Gaudiya Mats, it is Gaur Gadadhar. It is Prabhupada's master plan to get Nityananda Prabhu, because Prabhupada knows ये कलयुग के जीव है. Gadadhar will not give mercy to them. It is only Nityananda Ram. Heno nitai vinay bhai Radha Krishna paite nai. Without Nityananda Prabhu, no one gets Radha and Krishna. K-N-O-W Nitai, K-N-O-W Radha Krishna. No Nitai, no Radha Krishna. N-O Nitai, N-O Radha Krishna. No Nitai, no Radha Krishna. No Nitai, no Radha Krishna. Without Nityananda Ram, no one gets Radha and Krishna. So that Braj Mandal that we are talking about is attained by Nityananda Prabhu. And that Nityananda Prabhu comes down as Guru Tattva. It is Nityananda Prabhu who expands his Guru Tattva to save jivas of this world. That is why we say Adi Guru Nityananda Ram. The branch of Guru Tattva starts from Nityananda Prabhu. And all the gurus that we find, bona fide gurus, are expansions of Nityananda Prabhu. So these friends of Krishna were hearing, back to our discussion, these friends of Krishna were hearing Brahmaji pray this way. And they were laughing and giggling and chuckling. And Brahmaji was still chanting prayers. And finally, after chanting 61 verses, 61 verses, Krishna didn't look at Brahmaji in like 1 or 2 verses. Brahma has to offer 61 verses to get Krishna's attention. Now we can imagine how many verses we have to chant. If the Creator has to chant 61 verses to get the Lord's attention, how many verses we have to chant? And how many verses are we chanting every day? It's a point of retrospection. How many verses are we chanting? How much time are we spending for Srimad Bhagavatam? We are chanting Harinam, but how much time are we giving for Bhagavatam? This Srimad Bhagavatam is Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. What is the yardstick? How do we know whether we are Vaishnavas? It's not tilak, it's not kanthi, it's not dhoti kurta. Tilak, kanti, dhoti kurta, even a model. If you go to some mall, you find models are standing. What do you call them? You put some sari or you put some dhoti kurta, you put tilak for them, they will also look like a devotee. That is external. Devotee means Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. Bhagavatam should be our life and soul. Vrindavan Dham should be our life and soul. Tears should be flowing from our eyes. 2 saal ho gaya, I have not been to Braj. Sripad Aindra Prabhu would say, when we go to Braj, and if there are no tears, he would say, I'm sorry Prabhu, you are never in Vrindavan. Vrindavan should bring tears in our eyes. This is the aim of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is meant to bring tears in our eyes for the land of Vrindavan. Why is it that all the devotees have gone back home, back to God? And why is it that I am still here? 99% are there. It's the 1% population who are here. That place is Golok Vrindavan. In order to have attachment to that Vrindavan, we have to have attachment to this Vrindavan. And attachment to this Vrindavan comes when we associate with devotees who have attachment to Vrindavan. It doesn't come overnight. It doesn't come overnight. We have to cry. We have to really pay the price. And we have to hanker and associate with those devotees whose heart is beating for the land of Vrindavan Dham. Let us take this very seriously. This land of Braj is everything for the Gaudiyas. Let us make every endeavor to go to these pastime places. We don't know when this body is going to drop down. But while being alive, we want to make sure that we take shelter of these pastime places. This earth planet is the only planet that has Vrindavan, and we are not going to take shelter of this Vrindavan Dham. How do we expect to make any advancement in Krishna Bhakti when we are not taking shelter of pastime places, which is considered one of the Panchanga Bhakti by Rupa Goswami? Rupa Goswami, who is the fountainhead of our Sampradaya, is saying we have to take shelter of Vrindavan Dham. He is saying by taking shelter of Braj, we make advancement. So as Prabhupada would say, we don't prematurely go to Vrindavan and settle down. But when we get an opportunity, we have to go to these pastime places. And we can go to these pastime places only when there is a hankering in the heart. When there is no hankering, Krishna will also think, he is not hankering for Braj, why should I give him Vrindavan? Brahmaji is crying, chanting 61 verses. And Krishna was not even looking at him. He is the creator. How do we expect Krishna is going to look at any one of us? Krishna is not attracted by our 64 rounds. Krishna is not attracted by our 192 rounds. Krishna is not attracted by any of the services that we do. All that Krishna is attracted is if there is bhakti in the heart. As we mentioned earlier, bhakti plus anything makes sense. Our actions without bhakti is complete zero. Shunyam. Shunyahitam jagat sarvam. Everything in this world is zero if there is no bhakti in the heart. So this 10th canto is filled with Krishna's Vraja pastimes. The aim of Srimad Bhagavatam is to augment Vraj Bhakti in the heart. Let us take this human life very seriously. Time is really ticking. Time is really ticking. People in 20s and 25 and 30s and 35 are having cardiac arrest and are leaving this body. Let us not be rest assured that मेरे पास बहुत time है. I have a lot of time. No, we don't have a lot of time. Time is ticking. As much as possible, let us take shelter of these pastime places. As much as possible, let us take shelter of those devotees who have Vrindavan in their heart. We get Vrindavan in our heart by associating with devotees who have Vrindavan in their heart. I am sorry I'm spending a lot of time in this, but this is very important. This may not be part of Bhagavatam, but this is the aim of Srimad Bhagavatam. The stories, the verses, and all the fancy stuffs make sense when we understand this point that Bhagavatam means the land of Braj. And to be in this land of Braj, we have to pay a very heavy price. Who is saying this? Shukadev Goswami says this. Ittam satam brahma sukhanu bhutya dasyam gatanam paradaivatena maya shritanam naradara keshu sakham vijaru kruta punya punja. Shukadev Goswami says these friends of Krishna who are sitting and having prasad are not normal friends. Kruta punya punja, bahut papad bele hai. They have paid a very heavy price. And now they're sitting and eating with Krishna. So to get that destination, if that is what our heart wants, first of all, heart should hanker for something. We are there in this ISKCON movement. Why? What is the aim? Like in Hindi, we say, Behti Ganga mein haath dhona. When Ganga is flowing, we just wash our hands. That is not the aim of ISKCON. Just because everyone is a devotee, I am also a devotee. Well, that is good in one level. But what is the aim of Krishna consciousness? Why have I joined this movement? What am I expecting from this movement? Vraja Bhakti. Krishna consciousness means to augment Vraja Bhakti in the heart. If after all our katha, if we have little desire in this heart, Vrindavan jana hai. I want to go to Vrindavan. How I wish I can also stay in Vrindavan. That is perfection of all our kathas. But after all the katha, if we do not develop this desire of Vrindavan, Shunyam, everything is futile. All the 9 cantos, in fact, Sripad Ayendra Prabhu in one class was saying such a powerful statement. He was saying all the 9 cantos are futile if they don't develop, if they don't help you develop Vraja Bhakti in your heart. The 9 cantos make sense only when it helps you understand that this land of Vrindavan Dham is everything. So let us take this very seriously. Let us make every endeavor to go to these pastime places, to get our batteries recharged by chanting Radharani's name, by chanting Krishna's name. Attachment to Braj comes by hearing from sadhus who are Braj Rasik. The sadhus who are Braj Rasik, by hearing to them, that's how attachment to Braj comes. It's a wireless Bluetooth transfer, as simple as that. If COVID can come by sitting in close proximity, will attachment to Vrindavan not come in sitting in close proximity? Of course it will come. But for that, we have to associate, we have to hunt for those devotees who have Braj in their heart. Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj would say, if you seek, you shall find. ढूंढने पर भगवान भी मिलते हैं, ढूंढने पर ब्रजरसिक साधु नहीं मिलेंगे क्या? Definitely we will get. In every nook and corner in the land of Braj, we have so many exalted sadhus. So many Prabhupada disciples are there in this land of Vrindavan, who are less known to the world, but are breathing Radhe, 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 Radhe. so self-realized. कितने Prabhupada disciples are Vrindavan में. We may have not even heard their names, but so exalted. When we go to Vrindavan, the aim should not be to be like P.T. Usha. First day 7 temples, second day Nandagram, third day Barsana, fourth day ये P.T. Usha जैसा पूरा भाग लिया, back to Seattle. That is not the aim of Braj. Srila Radharani Swami Maharaj in one class was saying, even if we don't see any pastime places, it is okay. But when we go to Braj, the primary focus should be hear from the sadhus who have Vrindavan in their heart. This is why we go to Vrindavan now. The side thing is visiting pastime places. But the first is to hear from sadhus who have Vrindavan in their heart. So these friends of Krishna were very special. But now they were laughing. When Brahmaji was offering prayers, they were laughing at Brahmaji and looking at Krishna and saying, we thought we were your only friends. When did you make friends with this four-headed creature? And who is he? He's calling you God? What kind of God are you? You steal butter with us. You have monkey as your friends. What kind of God? And the friends, in so much love, they say, if you are God, we are also God. If you are God, we are also God. Chalo, dekhte. So much love. Not ready to accept that Krishna is God. This is Braj. Very special place. So after this pastime was done, the friends go back home. They're already back home, but they also go back home to their home. They go to their homes. And when they go home, they look at their parents. And they say, Mama, do you know Krishna killed Aghasur today? Krishna just killed Aghasur. In reality, this happened 1 year back. Because for 1 year, this Brahma Vimon Leela took place. Why 1 year? Because Brahmaji stole the cows and calves and kept the cows and calves in the cave. But few seconds in Brahmaloka is almost a year in Earth planet. And we did that math at Ramukund Prabhu's place. So, full pastime took place for a year and the friends came home and said, Krishna just killed Aghasur. While it happened 1 year back. So much so that Aghasur's body was lying there as it is for 1 year. So the friends were convinced that Krishna has just killed Aghasur. But first, the most primary reason, why did this Brahma Vimon Leela even happen? Did Brahmaji really have the power to steal Krishna's cows and calves? Answer is no. Because the friends of Krishna are superior to Brahmaji. The friends are in Golok Vrindavan and Brahmaji is still in the material plane. So someone who is still there in the material plane, what adhikar does he have to steal the friends of Krishna who are eternally liberated? They are Nitya Siddhas. How does Brahmaji even have the adhikar to steal? It was Yogamaya's trick. In the Ramayana, I just completely lost track of time. In Ramayana, we find that when Ravana, he came to kidnap Maya Sita. Did he get real Maya Sita? No. The real Maya Sita hid behind the curtain of Yogamaya. But a mic representation, a duplicate form was given to Ravana. Why? Because Ravan had this mood of exploiting. He never got the chance of kidnapping Maya Sita because real Maya Sita only belongs to Ram. It was only a mic representation. One duplicate form was presented. Similarly, Brahmaji, did he really steal the cows and calves and the friends? No. The real cows and calves and friends were always there with Krishna. It was only a duplicate form that was presented to Brahmaji. And Brahmaji was convinced that he has actually stolen. But actually the friends were always there with Krishna. So why did Yogamaya orchestrate this pastime? What was Yogamaya wanting from this? By the way, Yogamaya is Purnamasi Devi. Yogamaya is Purnamasi Devi. Yogamaya and Brinda Devi, they are the orchestrator of Krishna's Braja pastimes. So Purnamasi wanted this whole pastime to occur. Why? Because Krishna wanted three things from this pastime. Krishna wanted to achieve three things which he never was able to achieve, but through Brahma Vimohan Leela. Vimohan means bewilderment. Brahmaji got bewildered, and through this pastime, Krishna achieved three things. What were the three things? The cows always wanted Krishna as their calf. But while the calves are always present, how can Krishna ever become a calf? So through the Brahma Vimohan Leela, when the real calves were away, Krishna expanded himself as the calf and would drink milk from the udder of the cow. So the cows were happy. The cows always wanted Krishna to become their calf, but it was never possible. But through Brahma Vimohan Leela, Krishna achieved this. Second, the motherly gopis always wanted Krishna to be their son. That was also never possible because they already had children. But through this Brahma Vimohan Leela, Krishna expanded as the children of those motherly gopis and also drank their milk. So the second reason was also satisfied. First, the motherly cows wanted Krishna as their calf, which was fulfilled. Second, the motherly gopis wanted Krishna as their child, that was also fulfilled. And third, and the most important, why Krishna performed this pastime? Please hear this. This doesn't come as a part of Bhagavatam, but this comes from the Garga Samhita. The unmarried girls of Vrindavan, the unmarried girls of Vrindavan, that is Braja Gopis. This is the first time we are touching Braja Gopis. The unmarried girls of Braja, they always wanted Krishna as their husband. They always wanted Krishna as their husband. And now, the families, they decided the unmarried girls, their marriage with Krishna. Every house that had an unmarried girl, they all decided that we will get our daughter married to Krishna. Foolproof plan ban gaya. Now, Purnamasi was thinking to herself, wait a minute, this cannot happen. Because if Krishna gets married to all of them, what's the difference between Vrindavan and Dwaraka? In Dwaraka, anyway, he's going to get married to 16,000 queens. If he gets married here also, what's the difference between Braj Mandal and Dwaraka and Mathura? Kuch to alag hona chahiye. In Dwaraka, there is Swakiya Ras, where Krishna is married to Rukmini. But in Vrindavan, there is Parakiya Ras. There is the mood of Vipralamba. There is the mood of separation. So Purnamasi Devi or Yogamaya, along with Vrinda Devi, they came together. And they thought, kuch na kuch karna padega. We have to do something in order to break this marriage. Because if they get married to Krishna, there's no difference between Vrindavan and Dwaraka. They called Gargacharya. Remember Gargacharya? Who is Gargacharya? The person who named Krishna and Balaram. Gargacharya was called back. And Gargacharya entered Vrindavan and he looked at Purnamasi. By the way, Purnamasi is always dressed in white. Purnamasi is always there in white dress. So he looked at Purnamasi, he looked at Vrinda Devi, and he understood that Vrinda Devi and Purnamasi have some service for him. He gave obeisances. Gargacharya gave obeisances to Vrinda Devi and Purnamasi and said, what can I do? And Purnamasi Devi said, look, all the unmarried girls are about to get married to Krishna. The families are planning this marriage. Your job is to go house to house and break their marriage. Go house to house, break their marriage. How you are going to break the marriage, I don't know. This is your seva. Ghar ghar jaake unka ghar todna hai. Go house to house, break their marriage, because I want Parakiyaras to be there in Vrindavan. They should not get married to Krishna. So Gargacharya said, okay, I'll do it. And the Vrajavasis trusted Gargacharya a lot because he did the name giving ceremony. So Gargacharya went to the first house. He knocked. And they opened the door. Oh, Gargacharya, please come. Gargacharya was allowed to enter inside. Nashta pani sab ho gaya. Chai nashta ho gaya. Herbal chai. Herbal tea. Chai nashta ho gaya. Gargacharya, he looked and said, is your daughter about to get married to Krishna? And they said, yes, that's what the festivities are all about. Our daughter is going to get married to Krishna. And Gargacharya said, if you don't mind, can you show the chart? Can you give the date of birth? I'll just cross check. I will just see the chart. And they said, okay. Because Gargacharya is also an astrologer. So they gave the chart. And now Gargacharya was looking at the chart. He was not looking at the chart, but he was pretending to look at the chart. He was looking at the chart and said, Krishna, or in fact, Radhe. He was looking at the chart and said, there is some problem. He said, oh, what is the problem? He said, the problem here is if your daughter gets married to Krishna, Krishna's life is at stake. It's possible something will happen to Krishna. And when the family heard this, they said, really? The previous astrologer came and he said, Pure 36 sab mil rahe. All the 36 qualities are meeting. And Gargacharya said, no, maybe he made a mistake. But I clearly see from the chart that if your daughter gets married to Krishna, Krishna's life is at stake. So they said, oh, what are we supposed to do? I have a suggestion. Don't get married. Don't let your daughter get married to Krishna. But there is another Gopa. This is the name of the Gopa. He is also very qualified. He is also very strong. Make sure your daughter gets married to this Gopa because it's a perfect match. The Kundali matches perfectly. All 36 qualities are matching perfectly. And they didn't doubt Gargacharya because Gargacharya is very qualified. First house marriage was broken. Gargacharya ended up doing that in all the houses of Rajmandal. House to house. Breaking marriage. The reasons were different, but that was his seva of going house to house and shadi todna. We have people who get two people together, like brahmaji is considered a person who gets two people together. So if husband and wife are together, then the credit or all your grievances, you can direct that to brahmaji because he is the person who gets two people together. But Gargacharya was going house to house and breaking marriages. And now Parakhiras was maintained. Why? Because they got married to someone else while Krishna was, when he was away, Krishna got married in Dwaraka. But the point here is, why did Krishna perform this pastime?
So you can fulfill.
In that 1 year, Krishna became all the Gopas and married all the unmarried girls. Those unmarried girls who always wanted to marry Krishna but were not able to do, through this Brahma Vimohan Leela, for 1 year, Krishna expanded as all the Gopas, married all of them and fulfilled their desire also. In this way, their desires were fulfilled, the cows' desires were fulfilled, the motherly gopis' desire was fulfilled, and Paurnamasi's desire was also fulfilled of maintaining Parakhiras. Vipralambaras is maintained in this land of Vrindavan Dham. Radha and Krishna in Braj are always separated. It's very difficult for them to meet. You see the tilak that we wear? I don't know whether the tilak is still there, but the tilak that we wear, these two, of course there are various interpretations, but these two lines are Radha and Krishna, always separated. Radharani and Krishna are going parallel, are always separated, but they come and meet at one place where there is Tulasi. Tulasi means Vrinda and Vrinda means Vrindavan Dham. Radha and Krishna are always separated, but they come and meet in one place, that is Vrindavan, which also means if Radha and Krishna have to meet, Vrinda Devi is the person who orchestrates their meeting. The tilak that we wear also has Vipralamba ras in it. This is the Gaudiya understanding of our tilak. Radharani and Krishna are always separated, but it is Vrinda Devi, that is Tulasi, who helps in their meeting. This is why Prabhupada in all ISKCON temples started Tulasi Arti. Because Tulasi is Krishna Jivani. Without Tulasi, we don't get Krishna. Without Tulasi Maharani's mercy, there is no question of getting Krishna. So this Brahma Vimohan Leela was orchestrated not by Brahmaji, but was orchestrated by Yogamaya herself, because Krishna achieved 3 things with this pastime. The cows were happy, the motherly gopis were happy, and the unmarried girls also got married to Krishna in that 1 year. The reference for the third pastime is Garga Samhita. It's not there in Bhagavatam, it's not there in the commentaries, but comes from Garga Samhita. So Krishna is so kind. Through every pastime he does, he reciprocates to all his devotees. time was going by. Time was going, and Krishna was growing in age. Krishna was 3 when he got charge of the calves. But now was the time when Krishna transitioned from Kaumara to Pauganda. There are 3 phases in Krishna's life. Kaumara, 0 to 5. Pauganda, 6 to 10. And Kaishora, 10 to 16. And Krishna never ages after 16. He's always Navayovan. So now, all this while Krishna was in Kaumara, 0 to 5. Now slowly the transition happens to Pauganda. Krishna becomes 6. When Krishna becomes 6, he gets a promotion in his job. Salary raise. He gets a promotion in his job. From taking care of the cows, he now takes care of the cows. And that day when Krishna for the first time went out with his cows is called as Gopashtami. Krishna was 6 years old, and for the first time he took charge of all the cows outside. All this while he was taking care of the cows. But now at 6, Krishna takes care of the cows. Now when the cows were about to go out, Mother Yashoda looked at Krishna and said, Krishna, there are so many stones outside. It's possible that the stones may prick your feet. Wear some chappal, wear some shoes. And Krishna said, Maya, we are Gopas. For us, cows are everything. If you want me to wear shoes, my request to you is all the cows should also wear shoes. Nanda Maharaj has 900,000 cows and every cow has 4 legs. Every cow has 4 legs. So you do the math, 900,000 into 4.
36,000.
That many number of shoes. Krishna said, Maya, you put shoes for all of them? Not normal shoes. Gold shoes. I want they should have gold shoes. You put gold shoes for them, then I will wear shoes. Maya Yashoda says, forget it, just go. I will not make shoes for them, you also just go. So Krishna would go with his cows. And these cows were almost triple the size of Krishna. Krishna was only 6, he was this much. And you see the cows, they're huge in size. And Krishna, as if he has full control over the cows. The cows were like double, triple his size and more powerful than Krishna. But Krishna was very confident that he can now take care of the cows and calves. And Krishna goes out. The first day after promotion, the first day at his job after promotion, Krishna goes. And this is the first time Krishna is about to go deep inside the forest. When Krishna is going inside the forest, Mother Yashoda is coming. Krishna, did you take lunch? Mother Yashoda said, yes, Maya, I will come back by the time it is lunch. Krishna, did you take water? My friends have water, I will take from them. And Mother Yashoda starts asking question after question after question because she cannot see her Lala go away from her. Her eyes become completely moist. That Krishna is going away into the forest. He is going to come back in the evening. But Mother Yashoda cannot bear that separation. And she is asking questions again and again. And Krishna looks at Mother Yashoda and says, Maya, can you go? My friends are teasing me. They are saying, I'm a mama's boy. Can you go? And Mother Yashoda says, okay. And Krishna goes inside. And Mother Yashoda goes inside. And now Krishna with his cows and calves, he's about to enter the forest. Then Krishna is about to enter the forest. He's about to go inside. But Krishna sees Radharani from a distance. Krishna sees Srimati Radharani from a distance. And Radharani looks at Krishna. And Radharani has a sidelong glance. It's not even a full glance. It's just 2% of her vision. Just a sidelong glance. Kripa Kataksha. Radharani looks at Krishna from a sidelong glance. And Krishna, there's a 440-volt jhatka. Krishna is horripilating. Hair is standing on end, tears from his eyes. Radharani has looked at me. Krishna shivers when Radharani is looking. Not out of fear. Bhaktivedanta purport. Please don't map your emotions that you experience in your Grahastha life with what Krishna is experiencing. I am the Vishwanath Chakravarti of Grahastha Ashram. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati, he describes the scene. He says, when Krishna is about to enter, he looks at Radharani, and Radharani, very sidelong glance, looks at Krishna. And Prabodhananda Saraswati says, Venum karannipatitam skalitam shikhandam brastanta pita vasanam vrajarajasunu tasya kataksha saraghata vimurchitasya tam radhika paricharami kadarasena. Prabodhananda Saraswati's Tunga Vidya Sakhi. Tunga Vidya Sakhi comes down as Prabodhananda Saraswati to help Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is Prabodhananda Saraswati saying? He's saying, Venum karannipatitam. When Radharani looks at Krishna, Krishna looks at Radharani. Venum karannipatitam. The flute starts slipping from Krishna's hand. Not out of pasina, not out of sweat, but just where Radharani's vision, his flute starts slipping. Skalitam shikhandam. The peacock feather that Krishna boasts in Vrindavan Dham, that peacock feather gives obeisance to Radharani. When the peacock feather is there with Krishna, peacock feather is as it is. But when peacock feather sees Radharani, peacock feather switches sides and takes the side of Radharani. He gives full obeisances to Radharani. Venum karannipatitam skalitam shikhandam brastancha pita vasanam. The upper cloth that Krishna is wearing, fisalne lagta hai. He starts slipping. Just by Radharani's glance. She has not even spoken anything. Just by Radharani's glance. This is what happens to Krishna. What will happen to us if Radharani looks at us? And what will happen if Radharani talks to us? And what will happen if Radharani holds our hands and takes us to Golok Vrindavan? Srimati Radharani ki jai! Krishna is horripilating. His flute is slipping, his peacock feather is falling, his upper cloth is falling to the ground. Brastanta pita vasanam vrajaraja sunu. The son of the king of Vrindavan, these are his symptoms. And now comes such a beautiful part. Prabodhananda Saraswati says, Tasya kataksha. When Radharani does the kataksha, when she just looks, what happens? Tasya kataksha saraghata vimurchitasya. Shri Krishna falls to the ground. Krishna faints to the ground. Not able to take Radharani's sidelong glance. He falls to the ground. Vimurchit hona in Hindi means to unconscious. Tasya kataksha saraghata vimurchitasya. Radharani falls to the ground. And what is Prabodhananda Saraswati saying? Tam radhika paricharami kadarasena. When will that Radharani look at me with that sidelong glance? Just like she looks at Krishna with that sidelong glance when he is going inside the forest. When will that day come when she will also look at me? So these are tips and tricks, prayers that we can chant when we go in front of Radha Neelamadhav. Rather than going in front of Radha Neelamadhav and looking at him, we should go to the Lord so that he looks at us. Not so that we look at him. It's not a fashion show where we go and looking very nice, Krishna. Next altar. First class. Okay. Sometimes we say, Prabhupada Dandavat, Gaur Nitai Dandavat, Radha Neelamadhav Dandavat, Lakshman Sitaram Dandavat, ho gaya, nikal gaye. Like the speed of a wind. 1 minute ka 60 seconds mein zoom. When we go to the temple, the aim is Krishna should look at us, not that we look at him. Radharani should look at us because her kataksha can have so much power on Krishna. What happens if she does that same kataksha on us? And here in the temple, Radharani is not doing kataksha. She is looking with both her eyes upon us. So we have to make every endeavor to stand in front of Radharani. Hame bhi dekh lo. Humne kaun sa paap kiya hai? You are looking at everyone, look at me also. Hey Radhike, if you look at me, I will make some advancement. Krishna falls to the ground. And the friends are looking, hey, what happened? You were fine. What happened achanak? And they put they sprinkle water and then Krishna is up. And now Krishna cannot tell this to his friends because Sakhiras will not understand Madhurya Ras, but only some friends understand. Subal Sakhā, understands. We have Madhumangal, Priyanarma Sakhā, who understands. We have Arjun Sakhā, who understands. Arjun Sakhā is also a Priyanarma Sakhā, who is there in Madhurya and is also there in Sakhiras. So some friends understand what has happened, but other friends are clueless. What happened? Our friend was right. Probably he has not had a good breakfast. खाना नहीं खाया करके BP low हो गया भगवान का. He falls to the ground. And then they revive Krishna, and then now Krishna goes to the forest. So Krishna, he takes the cows, he takes the calves. And Krishna, when he takes the cows and calves, he takes them for grazing between 6 in the morning and 8:24 in the morning. 6 a.m. to 8:24. What is the time? 6 to 8:24 is the time Krishna takes the cows for grazing. Krishna ka fixed hai plan. Krishna's plan is fixed. And just to give a little more happiness to your heart, Radharani always follows time. Radharani is always on time. Krishna is never on time. Krishna is never on time. So we can decide whose side we want to be. From the next class, those who want to be on the side of Krishna can come late, but those who want to be the side of Radharani should come on time.
I came on time. Class शुरू हुआ.
On time मतलब 4:30 होता है. So Radhika is always on time, Krishna is always late. Always Krishna is late. And he will always give excuses also. But Radharani is so kind, she will believe in those excuses. She is so straightforward, she will believe Krishna. So now Krishna between 6 and 8:24 in the morning goes to a place called as Ter Kadamba. What is the place? Has anyone been to Ter Kadam? Been to Ter Kadam. Been to Ter Kadam. Don't remember. Who said that? सिर्फ आकाशवाणी जैसा voice आ रहा है. Please pray, collectively pray that COVID is done. So hopefully as a group we can all go to Brajmandal.
Also pray for visa to come.
हम लोग दोनों का वो है. Also please pray that immigration should. हम लोग दोनों का visa stamping बाकी है. So Krishna, between 6 and 8:24 in the morning. Back to our discussion. Between 6 and 8:24 in the morning, Krishna goes to a place called as Ter Kadamba. Krishna has something called as 8-fold pastimes or Ashtakaliya Leela. Why is it called as Ashtakaliya Leela? Because Krishna performs pastimes that is divided into 8 time slots. 6 to 8:24, 8:24 to 10:48, 10:48 to 3:36, 3:36 to 6, 6 to 8:24, 8:24 to 10:48, 10:48 to 3:36, 3:36 to 6. 8-fold pastimes. So 6 to 8:24. We can actually, if we know at what time Krishna is doing what, then whenever we see the clock, we can think, oh, this time Krishna is there doing this pastime. That's how we are Krishna conscious. That's how we are Radha conscious always. So between 6 and 8:24, Krishna is going to Ter Kadamba. Why is Ter Kadamba special for the Gaudiyas? This is the place Rupa Goswami wrote all the books. Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion, Ujjvala Nilamani, Laghu Bhagavatamrit, all the books were written at Ter Kadamba by Srila Rupa Goswami. So Krishna takes the cows and calves there. And at the same time, morning time, Radharani goes to Nandagaon. Why? To cook for Krishna. Because we have all heard this story where Radharani gets the boon from Durvasa Rishi, that whatever she cooks and whatever she has cooked, and whoever eats that person will never fall ill. So Mother Yashoda wanted that Radharani should cook for Krishna. So she would walk all the way from Barsana and she would come to Nandagaon. But when they would go to Barsana, when they would come from Barsana to Nandagaon, in between was Ter Kadamba, where Krishna was present with all his friends, with all his cows and calves. And Radharani knows Krishna is there. They could have taken an alternative route, but Radharani wants to go in the same route so that she can look at Krishna. She has already looked at Krishna when Krishna was about to go inside the forest, but still Radharani wants to go the same route. So Radharani tells Lalita Sakhi that we'll take that route. So Lalita Sakhi says, okay. And now at Ter Kadamba, those who have been there, when you are walking in Ter Kadamba, there comes a point where there is a junction. There's a left and there's a right. Krishna was there with his cows and calf towards the right side. And Srimati Radharani and Lalita and Vishaka, they were all walking and they took the right. And they were walking and Krishna was there. And Krishna called out to Srimati Radharani, Radhe! And Radharani looked. And Lalita Sakhi said, don't look at him. If you look at him, he is going to perform some pranks. Don't look at him. Act as if you have not seen him. Lalita Sakhi is very strong. She reprimands even Krishna. She reprimands even Radharani. So Lalita Sakhi tells Srimati Radharani, don't look that side. Raghunath Das Goswami, he calls Krishna as the black serpent. He says, Lalita Sakhi tells Srimati Radharani, don't look that side, the black serpent is there. Walk straight. Of course, we cannot call with our acharyas. But Radharani, her heart, Krishna has called. How can she not look? So she looks. Yes, Krishna, what happened? And Krishna says, Radhe, please come here. I want to show you something. Lalita Sakhi says, don't go. Radhe, I am warning you, don't go. He will perform some mischief. Don't go, listen to me. Radharani says, no, he is calling me out of affection. He wants to show me something. I want to go. Lalita Sakhi says, at your own risk. Please don't perform these stunts at home. They are performed by professionals. Please don't go, Radhe. I am warning you. Radharani says, Ek bar. I just want to see what he wants to show. Radharani goes. And Krishna, when he sees Radharani, Krishna tells Srimati Radharani, Radhe, this calf has a lotus design in the udder. Radharani says, what? A lotus design in the udder? No way. Even I have cows. No cow has a lotus design. Krishna says, really? Look at this calf. He has a lotus design. Radharani says, no way. Krishna says, you don't believe me, right? Sit down. If you sit down, I will show you. So Radharani says, okay. And they sit down. There's like when we have cramps, we just sit down. So Radharani sits down to see. And when Radharani innocently sits down to see whether it is a lotus design, Krishna, in jet speed, holds the udder of the calf and sprays Radharani's face with milk. And Radharani, I trusted you, Krishna. This is our Krishna. He says something, he acts something, he behaves something. That time when Radharani her abhishek was done with milk. Milk abhishek was completely done. Rupa Manjari was there. Who was Rupa Manjari? Rupa Goswami. Rupa Manjari looked at Radharani and said, I told you. Lalita Sakhi also told you. Vishaka also told you. But you trust Krishna, see? Don't come to us. We told you, right? As friends we told you, don't come to us. And Radharani very innocently looks at Rupa Manjari and says, Galti ho gaya. And Rupa Manjari takes her cloth and wipes the face of Srimati Radharani. That Rupa Manjari is coming down as Rupa Goswami. Now we can imagine that Rupa Manjari as Rupa Goswami comes down and writes Nectar of Instruction. How valuable is that book? That Rupa Manjari who is wiping the face of Radharani is coming down for us and writing Upadeshamrita. And if you don't read that Upadeshamrita and keep it as it is, it's such an offense to Rupa Goswami. He is giving his life and soul to write for us so that we can also be part of those pastimes. Not that we keep it as it is. So Rupa Manjari nicely wipes the face of Radharani and Radharani is very angry. After a few days, they again come through that route. Because she has to cook every day, so they again come through that route. This time Lalita Sakhi says, left. No taking right. Last time you took right, Anjam bura tha, this time left. Radharani again wants to go right. She was sprayed with milk, but she again wants to go. She wants to be with Krishna. But Lalita Sakhi is so strong. She says, left means left. No right. Left. Radharani says, "Theek hai." When they reach the junction, Radharani thinks to herself, I have to do something. I have to see Krishna. Krishna is so near. I have to do something. Radharani is wearing a necklace that was given by Krishna himself. When Radharani is wearing that necklace, when they reach that junction, Radharani pulls that necklace and all the beads fall to the ground. And when all the beads fall to the ground, all the gopis, that is Lalita and Vishaka, etc., they're sitting and searching. And at that time, our hero comes. Shama Sundar Shri Krishna comes. Radhe, can I do something for you? Lalita says, no. You stay away from this. When you come, you just create a mess out. And Radharani says, yeah, if you want to, if you want to do some seva, you can. And Krishna sits down and Krishna picks one bead and says, here you go. And Radharani takes and Krishna again picks. And Lalita says, what is going on? We were going to Nandagaon to cook. What is going on? As if the whole world has stopped. Radha and Krishna is picking one bead. Na-na-na. And Radharani is loving it. Lalita Sakhi sees everything. She understands. Next time I have to do something else. They come again, third day. Again they're in the junction. This time they take a left. Krishna sees from a distance. Radharani has taken a left. And abhi to necklace bhi nahi hai. There is nothing. How should I meet Radharani? Before we go here, why did Radharani break the necklace and what does it signify for all of us? Our Acharyas comment that only when we break material attachments, when we break the material attachments that are binding us, that's when Krishna runs towards us. Only when we are ready to break the material attachment that are binding, Krishna comes running. Even in these pastimes, there are hidden meanings that are there. So now third time, they are at the junction, they have taken the left. And Lalita tells Radharani, no looking there, walk straight, straight. And now Krishna is looking from a distance. What am I supposed to do? I want to see Srimati Radharani. Radharani has come so far. Krishna unties his calf. Krishna unties his calf. And all the calf that was tied all the while, now the calf is untied. The calf starts jumping here and there. And it jumps and goes towards Srimati Radharani. And is playing with the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, licking the lotus feet of Radharani. And Krishna, in the pretext of getting his calf back, Krishna, our hero comes back there. Krishna runs. And Lalita says, now what happened? There is no necklace. We didn't call you. Radhika didn't call you. Why did you come here? Krishna says, my calf. My calf is so mischievous. The calf just looking at Radharani, the calf just left. So I've come to reclaim my calf. And Krishna takes the calf. This is Braj Mandal. There is sweet pastimes. There is humor. This land of Braj has everything. Srila Guru Maharaj always says, Hari Katha hi Katha, Baki sab Vyatha hi Vyatha. Hari Katha is everything, remaining everything of this world is just false. This is life. Human life is meant for this. Pibata Bhagavatam. This is Pibata Bhagavatam. Drink nectar. You see, naturally, when we talk about Krishna's Braja pastimes, we have a smile on our face. Whatever is the age, male, female, bacha, children, whoever we are, there is a smile on the face. This is Braj. This is the place where we belong. This is the place where we want to go to. And this land of Vrindavan is our life and soul. Let us never forget, this is the aim of Gaudiya Vaishnavas, this land of Braj. And we can be a part of these pastimes. These pastimes are dynamic. We can be a part of these pastimes. Provided we are ready to pay the price of purity. We're ready to pay the price of sincerity. So Krishna gets his calf back. And now Krishna goes. And when Krishna is going, Radharani is also seeing from side whether she can see Krishna, and Krishna is also seeing whether he can see Radharani. Till the time Radharani is going, Krishna wants to see Radharani. Jitna hota hai aakh se, he wants to drink the nectar of Srimati Radharani's beauty. Krishna is beautiful. Radharani is 10 million times more beautiful than Krishna. If we call Krishna as beautiful, Radharani is 10 million times. We can't even comprehend Radharani's beauty. So Krishna, with his cows and calves, with his promotion in the job, on Gopashtami day he goes out, he's taking care of the cows and calf. And now for almost 1.5, 2 years, there was no problem in Braj. Because Brahma Vimohan Leela took place for at least 1 year. So, for 1 year, for 2 years, there was no problem in the land of Braj. And Vrindavan is a place where Krishna was always attacked by demons. For 2 years there were no demons, but now another demon was sent by Kamsa. Krishna's friends wanted to go to the forest of Talvan, one of the 12 forests. Talvan, Madhuvan, Belvan, Bhandirvan, Kumudvan, Kamyavan, Lovan, Tapovan, Vrindavan, so many places. So the friends of Krishna, they wanted to go to Talvan. And Talvan is called as Talvan because it has tal fruits. Because this forest has tal fruits, it is called as Talvan. The friends wanted to eat tal fruits. But they told Krishna, Krishna, there's a problem. We want to eat these fruits, but we are not able to eat. Krishna said, what happened? They said, Krishna, there's a demon. There's a donkey there. And he's guarding all the fruits. He's guarding all the forest. He feels all the fruits belong to him. He's not allowing anyone to eat. He's there and all his friends are also there and they're all eating the fruits and they're not allowing any fruits for us. Krishna said, which demon is it? He said, Krishna, Dhenukasur. He's a donkey and he's guarding. Donkeys signify ignorance. They signify ignorance because donkeys are dull in nature. Once there was a king. This is last few minutes of our discussion. Once there was a king, and there was a sadhu who would come to the kingdom of this king, and the sadhu would always give spiritual advice, but the king was never interested. He was always waiting when the sadhu will go. You see, sometimes pre-KC, pre-Krishna consciousness, even when we would meet devotees, we would be like, "Arey, kitna baat karta hai? बार-बार वही बोलता है. Bhagavad Gita as it is, Bhagavatam as it is. वही बोलता है. Krishna is supreme, Krishna is supreme, Krishna is supreme. He is speaking the same thing. कितना पकाता है, कितना पढ़ करता है. I hope that is not what you all are thinking looking at me. Everyone is looking at me and एकदम सच है, एकदम सच है. Pointing finger, सच है.
We are not pre.
What?
We are not pre-KC. You said right. So
We are not pre-KC.
We are advanced.
Oh, hey Vaishnava Thakur. सब उत्तम अधिकारी बैठा ऑडियंस में.
Casey is also done.
PhD KC also.
Self-proclaimed advanced devotee. So there was a king, and there was a sadhu who would always come, and he would preach, and the king would think, "Kitna bak karta hai? This go." But out of etiquette, he would not say anything, and the sadhu understood, just like the speaker understands whether the audience is paying attention or not. Who is sleeping in the audience? Who is paying attention? Whose eyes are open, but with the eyes open, they are sleeping. Speaker knows everything. Everything is revealed in the heart of the speaker.
Names, please.
I will give after the class.
I know which category I belong.
मैंने कुछ नहीं बोला. So the sadhu would come again and again, and the king was not interested. So the sadhu understood, and the sadhu said, "Okay, I have an option for you. I will permanently go from here. I will never show my face to you, but there's a condition." The king said, what? What is the condition? And the sadhu said, you have to make the most foolish person as your chief minister. If you make the most foolish person as your chief minister, I will leave this kingdom forever. This king said, wonderful. Good deal. It's not difficult to find foolish people. थोड़ा ढूंढेंगे तो गधे मिल जाएंगे. Again, don't look at me. गधे बोले सब ऐसे देख रहे हो. है प्रभु जी. So he said, okay. And the sadhu left the kingdom. And the king, he called his other ministers and said, I have a task for you. Go and find the most foolish person. I want to make him my chief minister. So they said, okay. And they went outside. And when they stepped outside, they found a person who was sitting on the branch of a tree and he was cutting the branch. So they saw him and said, great, like, ढूंढने का जरूरत ही नहीं, सामने ही है. The most foolish person is sitting in front of us. He is sitting on the branch and cutting the branch. Doesn't he know that he's going to fall? He's going to hurt himself. They call this person, hey, what are you doing? You're cutting the branch, you're going to fall down. This person from up says, hey, don't disturb. I am cutting the branch. Don't disturb me. These ministers started talking to each other and saying, he's so foolish. So they were waiting. And in due course, when that person was cutting, the branch fell. He also fell. He injured himself. He came to the ministers and said, wow, you're an astrologer. You could predict the future. You saw my future. These ministers were thinking, he's so foolish. You don't have to be an astrologer to know this. It's basic common sense. You're sitting on the branch and cutting the branch, you're going to fall and hurt yourself. हाथ पकड़ के लेके गए king के पास. My dear king, your candidate, your Diksha candidate is here. He is ready. So the king asked, what happened? Like, how did you conclude that he is the most foolish? So कान में बोले, इसे गायत्री मंत्र देते, कान में बोले, this is what he did. And the king and the minister started laughing that he is so foolish. So the king said, I have something for you. And this person said, what? He said, I want to make you the chief minister. He said, what? Chief minister? I mean, few minutes back I was cutting the tree and now you're going to make me the chief minister? He said, yes, you are the chief minister from now. I said, okay. And the king gave a gold baton. He said, this is the gold baton and this, the chief minister should always hold. And actually this gold baton was given to those people who were very foolish. But this foolish minister did not know it. So he was always holding the baton. And he was so foolish. Right हाथ से खाने बोलो, left हाथ से खाएगा. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You give him order of work, he will do 5, 6, 1, 3. Complete topsy-turvy. He was very foolish and the king would get very irritated. But the king would still bear him. Because for the king, it was easier to bear the foolish minister than to bear the Bhagavatam class of that sadhu. So the king was still bearing. And time was just going this way. And whatever you ask him to do, he would just do it completely topsy-turvy and like very dumb and very foolish. The king would not say anything. Finally, the king was on his departure bed. When the king was on his departure bed, everyone was there around. And the king said, is there anyone missing? And the wives of the king, they said, oh, that minister, that foolish minister is not here. So the king said, please ask him to come. Please tell him that I am departing this world. So that chief minister also came. And he looked at the king and said, what happened? Where are you going? He said, this is death. I am departing this world. He looked and said, you're not taking anything? He said, no, this is death. You cannot take anything. The chief minister looked and said, now I understand. You're taking your wives, right? You want some private time with them? You're taking your wives? The king said, no, this is death. You cannot take anyone. This chief minister said, now I understand. You're taking all your wealth, right? You're taking all your gold coins. You're taking everything with you. The king got up and said, don't you understand this is death? You don't take anything? And this chief minister said, now I understand. You're taking all your inventory, right? You're taking all your horses, you're taking all your cows, you're taking all of them with you. This chief minister said, he's so foolish. Don't you understand that this is death? You don't take anything at the time of death? This chief minister said, now I understand. you're taking this palace, right? That's why you're not taking me with you. He said, how are you so foolish? Like, you're so talented in being foolish. Don't you understand? This is death. At death, we don't take anything. We come zero. We come as Sudama. We go back as Sudama. All our Chase and Bank of America is like as it is. Yatharup. It is there in the bank as it is. And his chief minister, this chief minister, again and again he would ask this question, and the king was getting irritated. Even at the time of departure, he didn't have a peaceful departure. He was asking foolish questions. मरते समय भी शांति नहीं है. Finally, this chief minister, he looked at the king and said, "This gold baton is for you." King said, "Do you know what you're doing? This baton is meant for the most foolish person. You are giving this baton to me? You think I am the most foolish? You have that audacity to call me the most foolish?" This person said, "My dear king, all your life you collected that wealth that you cannot take. All your life you collected that inventory that you cannot take. All your life you collected that ministers you cannot take. All your life you served those wives whom you cannot take. All your life you built a palace that you cannot take. But that thing that you can take to your next life, that is Krishna Bhakti, you never prioritize that. You have to be the most foolish person I've ever seen." The king got up. The king got up and said, "Who are you? I thought you were foolish, but now you are speaking like a very self-realized person. Who are you?" And this person removed all his attire and said, "Do you remember that sadhu?" He said, "Yes, I remember that sadhu. I am the disciple of that sadhu." That sadhu understood that you are not taking spiritual advice. So on purpose he tricked you. He asked me to sit on that branch and cut that branch. So it was not coincidence, but it was well planned. That advice, oh dear king, that advice that my Guru Maharaj was giving you when you were alive, I am giving you the same advice when you are departing this world. You cannot take anything at the time of departure. All that you can take is Krishna Bhakti. And the ignorance was completely dispelled. And the king came to reality, but it was very late. What is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is Krishna Bhakti is the only thing that can be taken ahead. While second and most important, ignorance is destroyed by Gurudev. It is only Guru Tattva that destroys ignorance. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnanam Janashalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ignorance is only destroyed by Gurudev, Guru Tattva. And why did we quote this pastime? Because Dhenukasur is a donkey that represents ignorance. When they entered the forest, he represented ignorance, and Krishna said, "Balaram, it's time for you to step into the field." All this while I kill demons, but he denotes ignorance, and ignorance is killed by Guru Tattva. Balaram, go ahead. And Balaram went ahead. And Balaram, when he went ahead, there were tall trees. Tall trees are huge, like palm trees. Balaram went and started shaking. He started shaking those tall trees, and tall fruits were falling. And when tall fruits, when fruit started falling, Dhenukasura understood. And he started charging towards Balaram. What does this mean? Only when Gurudev shakes our false ego does the Dhenukasura, like ignorance, start coming out. It's only when Gurudev starts shaking us, when he shakes our false ego, that's when we understand, wait a minute, all this while I was Dhenukasura. All this while I was dipped in ignorance. That's when the ignorance starts coming out and we understand, this is wrong. This is not the way of life. Gurudev shakes our false ego. And Balaram was shaking the tall trees. Dhenukasura with full speed charged towards Balaram. And when Dhenukasura charged towards Balaram, Balaram very effortlessly, he held the hind legs. He held the hind legs. He whirled and threw him right in the tall trees. And he came crashing down. And when he came crashing down, all the friends of Dhenukasura were there. They also charged. When they charged, Krishna took charge of the control. He took charge of the situation. Balaram was fighting Dhenukasura. Krishna was fighting the Dhenukasura friends, the friends of Dhenukasura. And same. The same thing they did with Vatsasura also. Whirling around. Mind you, they are donkey. It's not a 5-10 rupees like plastic toy that they are moving. It's a donkey. And with one hand, Balaram is moving the donkey. That is the power of Balaramji. If Balaram can shake ignorance so effortlessly, can he not shake the ignorance of our heart? If the donkey can be shaken so easily, what is our ignorance in front of that donkey? He just whirls him around and throws him, and Dhenukasura dies to the ground, completely bleeding. Srimad Harisuri comments here. Srimad Harisuri very beautifully comments. Dhenukasura had this feeling that he is apurva. Apurva means one without a second, like class apart. Dhenukasura always had this feeling that I am apurva. Balaramji thought to himself, you're apurva, right? I will also kill you the apurva way. Purva means ahead. Apurva means behind. On purpose he held the hind legs and rolled him. Ye yathamam prapadyante. You think you're apurva, I will kill you the apurva way. Purva means ahead, apurva means behind legs. He held the hind legs. You're apurva, I will kill you the apurva way. Srimad Harisuri. Such a beautiful commentator. So rasik. Dhenukasura died. He fell to the ground. All his friends also died. And when Dhenukasura died, the fruits also came down. And if you remember, when we spoke about the fruit vendor pastime, at that time we made this point that when the fruits came down, it was mixed with the blood of Dhenukasura. And Krishna's friends did not eat it. But the Pulinda ladies who were there in that village, they came and ate those fruits. Do we remember that? Those who were there? So when the fruits came down, it was mixed with the blood of Dhenukasura and it became muchi. It became contaminated. So Krishna and his friends did not eat. But the Pulinda ladies who were below Shudra, they came and they enjoyed the fruits. After Dhenukasura was killed, something very, very, very interesting happened in Vrindavan. What happened? We will see in the next class. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.